The pilot only closed his eyes for a moment during the flight, but when he woke up, he was horrified to discover that the bomber had drifted far off course and was now somewhere in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Even worse, the fuel was almost gone. He quickly used the navigation equipment to calculate their position and realized they were nowhere near their planned route. Without telling the two men behind him the full truth, he contacted the control tower and asked for help. But suddenly, a Japanese voice came through the radio. The pilot immediately shut it down and switched to Morse code. Their only chance now was to reduce the aircraft's weight and save as much fuel as possible. So he dumped every bomb aboard the bomber into the ocean and turned the aircraft around, desperately searching for a signal. But the tower never responded. With the fuel nearly exhausted, the pilot finally told his crew the truth. They quickly gathered their equipment and prepared for an emergency landing on the Pacific. The bomber managed to land on the water, but the impact badly damaged the aircraft. Seawater began flooding the cabin, and the plane was sinking fast. The pilot escaped the cockpit and grabbed the life raft, but when he turned around, his two teammates had disappeared with the sinking aircraft. Fortunately, both men managed to free themselves from their restraints and escape the cabin, but all their food and supplies had gone down with the plane. They eventually reached the surface and discovered that the life raft had been opened the wrong way. Exhausted, the three men struggled to turn it over and finally climbed inside. The raft was so small that they had to sit tightly packed together. That night, soaked and freezing, they curled up against each other for warmth and somehow slept until morning. When they woke up, the two younger men still believed rescue would arrive soon. They even played little games to pass the time, but the pilot was worried. They were surrounded by endless ocean with no food and no fresh water anywhere in sight. By noon, there was still no sign of rescue. Now they realized their situation was far worse than they had imagined. The brutal sun quickly left them exhausted and desperately thirsty. They used their clothes for shade while one man tried to catch fish with a homemade hook. Another wanted to jump into the water to cool off, but the pilot stopped him. They needed at least two men watching the raft, especially because a dangerous shark was nearby. Suddenly, the swimmer noticed something approaching and raced back to the raft. For safety, the pilot ordered everyone to stay away from the edge. 3 days passed. They had barely any water and nothing to eat. Desperate, the pilot resorted to drinking his own urine, while the others refused. As the days passed, hunger and dehydration began affecting their minds. One man even mistook seawater for drinking water and nearly drank it before the pilot stopped him. Then the pilot discovered a pencil in his pocket. It seemed useless, but he realized it could help save them. Using the pencil, he marked their life jacket and used a compass to estimate the crash site's location. By studying the ocean currents, he calculated that drifting southwest could eventually bring them toward a friendly island. But they needed a way to control the raft, so they turned part of the life raft equipment and rope into a makeshift sea anchor. It couldn't control the wind, but it could help keep them from drifting in the wrong direction.